Hi everyone, I am Alicia. Welcome to this video and welcome to this channel. This is my first time really sitting down and filming a talking video, so if I come across as really awkward or if my filming setup is not the best or the lighting, I do apologize. Hopefully it'll get better in the future. Today's date is December 27th, 2025, so we're coming towards the end of the year. And I've been consuming a lot of videos and TikToks, things across my social media feeds of people essentially wrapping up the past year and showing how they're preparing for 2026. And I've gathered a lot of, I think, really useful information, and I've created a pretty solid plan on how one can wrap things up in a bow for 2025 and bring in 2026 with a lot more organization and clarity. And so this is just like a pretty thorough guide on how to do this. A lot of this information has been taken from other like YouTubers, so I'll be linking their channel or their videos down below. And yeah, hopefully this video actually sees the light of day and I'm not just filming this and then saying I'm gonna do something and then I don't fucking do it, because that happens a lot with me. Yeah. So this video is essentially gonna consist of me talking and looking at my laptop, and maybe like pulling up some visuals to help people visualize. Okay. Because I have written all my notes and I've essentially made a checklist here on Notion, I'm probably going to be sharing the link down below if anybody wants it. I think it's going to be really useful and I love a checklist. So yeah, I love sharing my list. I love sharing notes. That was the thing when I was in college. Everybody had my Notion link. Okay, so this video is essentially going to be divided into 7 different categories. 5 of them are for closing out 2025 and 2 of them are for bringing in 2026. So just to get started right away, to close out 2025, the first thing I'm going to be doing is cleaning out my digital space. Okay, so this can be divided into your devices, right? So I have my phone, I have my computer, I have my iPad, and I'm gonna, although it's not a device, my email is going to be a separate subcategory of this. Okay, so for my phone and my iPad or tablet, for whatever additional device you use, right? Let's start with photos. I'm going to delete any duplicates, any blurry photos, any screenshots or videos that I no longer need, okay? Screenshots, that's like maybe like past events that I didn't end up going to, or videos. Sometimes I accidentally take like 2-second videos, right? So that's all gonna be gone and that's gonna help me clear some storage space. With the photos that I do want to like still like keep, almost like commemorate, right? I'm gonna post photos on Pinterest. I'll post them on like private boards. Maybe I'll post like photo dumps on TikTok or on Instagram. I also post a lot on Visco because I am stuck in 2015. And I'm gonna back up all of my photos onto a hard drive, okay? I have an external hard drive. It's upstairs, it's not here on my desk with me, but it's very useful. You know, I have a lot of pictures of my baby Theo that if I were to ever lose them, I would hunt down. I don't know. I would go crazy if I lost them, okay? In addition to that, if you hear chewing, that's Theo. In addition to that, I'm going to be deleting old notes and reminders. I'm going to be turning off notifications from social media apps that I just don't visit. I'm also going to do a follower/following cleanse on both Instagram and TikTok because those are my most used social media apps. I mostly use TikTok. I'm not on Instagram very much. And I'm going to delete any unused apps. I'm going to delete contacts that I don't need. I'm going to delete unwanted text threads. You know when you get like spam messages or something like you have a voicemail or promotions? Those are all going to be gone. That's going to be cleaned out, okay? I'm going to update my emergency contacts and my favorites. I'm going to clear tabs on my browser that I don't need. I have a lot of shopping tabs that I just never bought, and the idea of buying things right now is like sickening. I've spent so much money in December and November. On my iPad, I'm going to back up files onto my hard drive. So that's anything from Procreate, art that is like finished and I'm no longer working on, or files that I've saved onto my device, so like contracts I've signed and whatnot. From my email, I'm going to unsubscribe from unwanted email lists. I'm going to clear unread emails, and I'm going to sort remaining emails into category folders. So like anything that needs to be archived, or like order receipts and whatnot, that's going to be a lot more organized. For my laptop, I'm going to clean my desktop. I'm going to clear my downloads folder. I'm going to organize my documents, back up documents onto my hard drive. I'm going to delete unused apps, and I'm going to empty my garbage bin. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. From my web browser, I'm going to clear my cookies and cache. I'm going to delete unused extensions, and I'm going to clean out my bookmarks folder. Honestly, I don't have many things in my bookmarks, but helpful for anyone who does, okay? I also forgot there's another subcategory, and that's my camera, okay? My camera / my SD card. So I'm going to back up all of my photos onto my hard drive. I believe I've done that already, although I am filming, I have to back these up. I also backed them up onto Google Drive because I typically like to share photos with other people, and I'll do that using like a Google Drive link. And I'm also going to delete all the photos and videos off of my SD card, because even though I'm going to like move them from the SD card onto my hard drive, I still have to go into my camera and like actually press delete off of the SD card. I don't know if that's normal. That's everything for the digital space. Next, I have to clean up my physical space. So that is whatever spaces you use, okay? For me, that is going to be my bedroom. That's going to be my art studio here. It's disgusting. I also have to clean the dining table because I tend to work there a lot as well. And I'm going to be cleaning the bathroom, okay? I share my bathroom with my sisters. I do live at home. I share it with my sisters, and I will recruit them. To clean my bedroom, I'm going to be organizing things by a donate pile and a trash pile. I love throwing things away. I'm also going to wash my bedding, do my laundry, organize my clothes that's in my closet, as well as my messy drawers. I'm going to declutter and wipe down my drawer, because it also kind of doubles as a nightstand. So I'm going to wipe that down. I'm going to sort through my closet. I'm going to vacuum. Optional, I don't usually do this. I'm gonna flip or rotate the mattress. I saw that was a thing people do. I might do it, I don't know. I'm gonna clean my mirror, and I'm gonna empty my trash. In my art studio, this is like a whole other video that I want to do where I reorganize and redecorate my art studio because it is a mess. I'll give you a sneak peek. I literally did not clean it out since graduating, which was in 2024. I went to art school, so all of my art supplies is just dumped on the floor. I just never had time. That's a lie. I had time. Next category is finances. Now, essentially everything that I took from here is from a video by Nischa. And I will link her channel down below, but her video is 6 things you must do before 2026 financially. So from her video, I wrote down what applied to myself and might apply to others. Some things I don't quite know what they mean. So to start off, the first thing to do financially is to write down all your expenses. Now, I've already done this. I do this in Notion. I can post a template for that as well. And she suggests doing a mini financial Wrapped. So similar to Spotify Wrapped, you essentially just see your stats and analyze like the data that you've collected over this past year on all your expenses. Some things to keep in mind for this is the total spent for the year, the total spent each month, your total spent for each category. So I'll organize things by categories, including art, entertainment, bills, Theo, health/wellness, gifts, transportation, restaurants/takeout, shopping, groceries, trips, and education. You get to see how much you've spent in each category. You can also further divide your monthly spending into those categories, but I couldn't be bothered. And the total spent for each category, I will calculate that in both the dollar amount as well as the percentage. I also have top spending category, and I have the income, my income for this past year. Next thing to do financially is I'm going to perform a yearly audit. So I'm gonna patch up any leaks in my expenses. That's things that you just arbitrarily spend money on that are not necessary. You know, you spend them on convenience fees, food delivery, or subscriptions that you don't really use. I'm gonna go through my recurring bill payments and cancel or pause anything that I am not using. The only recurring bill payments that I have are my phone bill, which is after tax, it's like about $33 a month for unlimited talk and text and quite a bit of data. I'm with Freedom Mobile. I don't know if this happens with anyone else, but they will periodically raise the amount of data I have available. I can look for cheaper phone plans, that's optional, but potentially something I can do. And my other reoccurring bill payment is my gym membership. And for that, I do plan on lowering my membership tier because on my current tier, I can access certain amenities as well as bring in a guest, but I'm just not using it enough to justify having it. So I'm gonna lower that into the basic membership. The next thing you wanna do is rebuild your financial foundation. And Nischa suggests focusing on your emergency fund. So recalculating your monthly expenses now that you have all your data from your financial wrapped. And you need 3 to 6 months of expenses. And she says to adjust for lifestyle changes and top it off if costs have increased. Next, she says to review your cash versus your investments. And she says that if you have too much cash, inflation will eat away at it, versus if you're too invested. Yeah. My mom got me a birthday gift. I hope I'm filming. This is really funny. That's so funny. I hope she did not notice the camera. Anyways, this is my new jacket. Yeah. It's my birthday soon. I'm turning 25. I recently did one of those things where you analyze your color palette and then you're given your seasonal palette. So I'm a soft summer and I think this is in my palette, so I'm happy about that. To get back into it, sorry for that interruption. The next thing Nischa says to do is to review your cash versus your investments. Okay, so if you have too much cash, inflation is going to eat away at it, okay? Even if that's in a high interest savings account. Versus if you have too much invested, you don't want to have to sell your stocks in case of an emergency because you never know if the market is up or down, right? She says the rule is if you have any cash that isn't needed for the next 5 years, it's smarter to invest this rather than put it in a high interest savings account. The next thing Nischa says to do financially is don't leave free money on the table. I don't know how well this applies to me, but she lists things like use up your employer benefits. If you have any workplace retirement schemes, make sure to invest in that if there's like employer matching and whatnot. I don't have that. She says use your tax allowances. Keep in mind when your financial year ends in your country. She also lists tax loss harvesting to sell underperforming investments to reduce tax bill. She says make donations count, you know. If you donate, then it's going to be like a tax write-off, as well as know your financial year. And this will apply specifically to myself, but I am also a freelance illustrator and designer. So for me, I have to print all my invoices from art markets and clients to prep for tax season. I also have to take pictures of my receipts from business expenses, so that'll include any physical receipts that I have saved. I use the shoebox method, as well as emails from online orders. So after doing those very practical things to close out 2025, you also want to reflect on the past year. I watched a video by a creator named Annie Manora. Her video is called How to Reflect on the Past Year and Prep for the New Year. And in that video, she suggests a lot of very helpful suggestions that I think would be really good to implement through this process. So I'm going to link her video down below. She also posts some helpful Notion templates in her comments, so I'd really recommend checking it out. She also gives really good examples in her own personal life, so it's a good watch. The first thing she suggests doing to reflect on the past year is review your past year goals, resolutions, and habit trackers. Yeah, so for me, a lot of goals I missed, I'm not gonna lie. Some of the overarching goals for 2025 I had was to have $100,000 net worth across all accounts by December 31st, 2025, which I achieved in September. That's really awesome. Something I did not achieve was post my art at least 2 times per month. I haven't posted since 2024. But maybe I'll post YouTube videos now. Another thing that I wanted to do was to sell enough of my things on like Facebook Marketplace to buy a camera, this camera that I'm filming on. This is the Sony Alpha A6400 mirrorless vlogger camera with a 16 to 50 millimeter OSS lens, okay? I actually didn't reach that goal of selling my own things to purchase this camera because I saw it for a really good deal on Facebook Marketplace and I was like, I have to act now. So I just bought it. Something, I'm not gonna say that one. Another goal that I did not reach was to post on YouTube. Maybe that's gonna be 2026, who knows, y'all. Next, she says to review your vision boards. I have my vision boards on my phone. Actually, I have them in my notebook. I printed them out and I have them here. One of the goals that I also did not achieve in 2025 was to journal daily. Oh my god, this was like my dream bod. Oh my god, I wanted to take my health and fitness super seriously. Career and finance, okay. That's something to review for later. Art and creation. Recreation, interesting. Okay, so she says review your vision boards. She also says review any journal entries you made. Like I said before, I kind of failed daily journaling. And I would only journal when something significant happens. So I definitely will be looking back at my journal for those. Another thing to reflect on the past year is to make a board of proof or some sort of brag sheet to show the things you accomplished this year. I'm going to be making a Pinterest board and I'm going to be just posting my own photos on there to show that I actually did do the things that I set out to do. Not all of them, some of them. Annie also really emphasizes journaling to reflect on the past year, and she divides this into things that could be lists and journal entries to answer more thoroughly. Some of the prompts that she suggests to answer to reflect on the past year include: what are you proud of? Favorite memories? People of the year? Current events of the year? Unexpected moments? Moments of synchronicity, so when the world works in your favor, coincidental moments that feel beyond you. And I actually have, I've journaled this last night, around 2 a.m. yeah, so to read some of them, some of the things I am proud of is completing a full year of full-time work at an 8 to 5 job slash working my first job post-grad. I graduated in 2024 and I started working in August of 2024. So I completed a full year of work by August of 2025. So that was cool. I also don't really like the 8 to 5 life. I don't even have a 9 to 5, I have an 8 to 5. Are you kidding me? What I loved was I also used my camera very often. So this camera that I spent like $850 on, okay? I think originally this Sony camera, it was like $1,300 or so if you were to buy it new, but I saw it on Facebook Marketplace for 1,000, or it was $999, and I was like, can you do 800? And they said I can do 850. So I got it for a pretty good price. I love the fact that I have so many pictures to look back on and photo albums to make. I've already made one family photo album for 2025, and I've printed some pictures for my friend Michelle as part of her Christmas gift, because I also gave her a scrapbook. So it's nice, it's very sentimental. Something I'm also proud of is being generous with the money I've earned. So that's helping out my family in little ways, like buying groceries here and there, buying food for my dog, and buying like treats and food for my family as well. Something, I think probably the thing I'm most proud of achieving is my 100K net worth. I can't believe it. I would not have been able to do it without my parents and the fact that I live at home. Some of my favorite memories is like Theo having a sleepover in my room. We also had Theo's first birthday party, which was really cute. We decorated and he had his whole getup and everything, his little hat and bib. My family took a trip to Japan and we met my cousin there, and that was a really great time. I hosted a summer barbecue with my friends, with all my Sheridan friends, as well as my childhood best friend and her boyfriend, to which I'm very grateful that they came and they helped out and everything, and it was just nice to have them there for like comfort as well. I loved like singing like the couple times that I went for karaoke with my friends, both my Sheridan friends and my high school friends. I attended my friend Michelle's grad, and that was really sweet, and I acted as like photographer there too, which I love. I love being a photographer. I did the same. I acted more as like paparazzi at my friend Crystal's surprise birthday party. She turned 24 on the 24th, so it was her champagne party, so it was a big deal, and her sisters threw the party and invited us, which was nice. Another good memory was just watching Sinners and eating sushi with my friend Michelle. Little things. It was nice. People of the year, Michelle, my best friend of almost 2 decades, my mom, and my dog, Theo. I love him, and I love my mama. Clearly I love my mom. Oh my god, she just got me a jacket. What the heck? Didn't even ask for it. Current events of the year, okay? Mom Donnie win, let's go New York, okay? Carney win, okay, liberals. Crazy comeback, tariffs, and you know, some drama with the states, okay? Unexpected moments, randomly seeing my little cousin at Wonderland. It was so weird. So I went to Wonderland with my siblings, as well as my older sister's boyfriend. And hi baby, do you want to sit with me? Sit with me? Come. One, two, three. Oh my gosh, you're cold. You were outside. It's just my baby. People's choice of the year. Hi, I love you. I was there with my siblings and my sister's boyfriend, and we happened to be walking at the exact spot on the like same side of like those wide sidewalks, and I saw my cousin do like a double take once my sister passed him by, and I was like, oh my god, Joshy. Yeah, so we randomly saw him then. Another unexpected moment, kind of sad. The Jays lost the World Series. I really expected them to win just because it would have been a good story. And another unexpected moment was going to Japan. That was like, I think, booked a month before we went. Before almost my entire family went. That's like 5 of us. Moments of synchronicity. I have one that I will not share. Actually, I'll share it very vaguely. Basically, I saw this guy that I have been in limerence over since 2024, okay? And I saw him on like exactly a year later, on the anniversary, on the day we met. I saw him again, and it confirmed something in me in regards to my career, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. So to move on to some prompts, Annie suggested that you should answer more thoroughly is describe the year in 3 words. What made you happy or unhappy? Any regrets? Biggest lesson of the year? And how have I changed? To describe the year in 3 words. 1 is whirlwind. So much of my time is just taken up by working full-time and commuting to my workplace. My commute is 2 hours there and back, okay? So I'm on the TTC for 4 hours a day, and I have to go in person 5 days a week. So 20 hours of my week is just spent on the TTC, right, Baba? Mm-hmm. And it's torture. It tested my limits, to say the least, okay? I cried at work. Another word to describe is closing. I feel like I'm closing out some storylines in my life, right? And another word to describe 2025 is redirection, because I think I'm moving on to different things. Yeah, I'm gonna be vague about it. Next, what made me happy or unhappy, and any regrets. To start with things that made me happy, I'm gonna list Theo. He's right here. I don't want to disturb him. Can you see? Baba, Baba. Some other nicknames I have for Theo is like Bubba, or Baby. So things that made me happy. Theo, my love. Money. Yeah, money. Working full time. That was pretty cool. Seeing my investments grow. Spending time with my family and especially my mom. Spending time with my friend Michelle. I love her. This kind of has to do with like earning money, but gift giving. I realized, oh, gift giving is so fun, and I think I'm a good gift giver. And just doing good things for people that appreciate it. Emphasis on people that appreciate it. Because one of the things that made me unhappy was doing things for people that don't appreciate it. It's like, oh my god, they need to get a grip. Anyways, yeah, things that made me unhappy, wasted effort, the commute to work / the TTC, my pay, I'm not gonna lie. And my family also made me unhappy because sometimes they're so irritating. The biggest lesson of the year is that time is the most valuable thing in life. And how have I changed? Some of the things I've listed here is that now I kind of eat what I want. Almost to the point where I need to keep myself in check. But prior to this year, I was very, I wouldn't say restrictive, but I was thinking about what I eat too much and my weight too much. Yeah, so I'm not as obsessive about my weight, which is great. Physically, you know, my hair, I give myself a blowout now, And I've also discovered that I am a soft summer. Those are the things that I've listed. I think I might go back into this journal and be a bit more thorough. Those are the things that I could come up with at 2 a.m. Next, so on top of reflecting on the past year, you should also remember the past year. I think I'm gonna post a photo dump on Instagram. I'm going to post some pictures on a private Pinterest board, as well as my Visco. I've also printed a lot of the photos I took on my camera, and I'm gonna put them into a physical photo album. And I'm also gonna review the music I listen to. I create monthly playlists, and I've been doing that since, I believe, 2022. Yeah, so, I mean, Spotify Wrapped has like the top songs of the year, so I've been listening to that. But I'll take a look at what I've been listening to monthly. My playlists are also on public if anybody's interested. Hi, sorry, it's the next day. I had to stop filming because my camera ran out of battery yesterday. But with that, it wraps up everything I wanted to cover in regards to closing out the past year. And now we can get into preparing for the new year. Once again, I'm going to be referring to points and ideas made by Annie and Nischa in their respective videos, so please give them a watch as well. I'm going to break this segment down into two categories, and that is general preparation for the new year, as well as goal writing more specifically. The first thing you want to do is to prepare your vision boards. Now, I do this on Canva. Annie also does this on Canva, and I can post my vision boards from the previous year somewhere here. I have included some of my own pictures already, and that is something Annie suggests and is something I will continue to do for 2026. The way I made my vision boards in 2025 was I actually made 6 different ones, and each one was specific to a category. And those categories were self-image, romantic partner, recreation, health and fitness, career and finance, and art and creation. I chose the images for the mood boards based on like people I want to emulate or people I admire. I would also choose photos that had people that looked like me or that I could pretend I took it from my point of view. In addition to that, I would also write some text across the vision board, but I would make it in present day. For example, in my recreation vision board, I put text like, I am a social butterfly and I love meeting and connecting with amazing new people. I also wrote things like, one of the best parts about living at home is that I get to hang out with Theo, which is true. So those are my vision boards from 2025, and I will have to make them for 2026. The next thing Annie suggests doing is to choose a theme to track consistently throughout the year. She gives examples like taking pictures of your outfits, of your meals, of your window views, which I think is such a cute idea. You can track books that you've read or movies you've watched. If you want to do movies, I'd recommend Letterboxd. So you track those consistently throughout the year so that you can look back on it at the end of the year. Something that I have been tracking since 2022 is the music I've listened to. So I'll have monthly playlists and just add any song or favorite songs from an album onto that playlist, and whenever I go back and listen to it, it really does remind me of that time in my life. So for example, I started this way back in 2022, and during that time I was working downtown at a summer camp, and I remember having to wake up early, not as early as I do now, but I'd have to wake up early to commute downtown. And my playlist for August, if I were to go back and listen to it, I can visualize being on the TTC in the summer during that time, have my little backpack, and I'm wearing, my headphones. It was a good time. Next, Annie suggests to create a bingo card. So I enjoy making like a little bucket list for the year, and For 2025, I put things such as design a cool costume for Halloween 2025 and post about it. I didn't do that. I wanted to watch a musical, which I crossed off. When did I do that? Some things on the bucket list that I did manage to cross off was go to Halloween Haunt at Wonderland, go to Winterfest at Wonderland, host a summer barbecue party with all my friends, go to the beach with Izzy, my friend Izzy from school, attend Michelle's graduation, go on a hike with my friend Sarah, plan and host the 10-year Prince of Peace reunion. In 2025, it had hit the 10-year reunion when my class graduated from grade 8 in elementary school, and it's tradition for people at my school to host that 10-year reunion, so I was able to plan and organize that with my friend Michelle. It was a hassle, but it was fun. So that's all to say that I would create a bucket list bingo card because I think it's an extra motivation to cross things off when they're gonna be fun. Another really cool thing that Annie suggested was to create a fun predictions bingo card for the new year, which is also a fun activity to do with friends. And I would love to gather my friends to do this, and maybe I'll suggest doing it over FaceTime, but I want to add onto my bingo card that one of my friends gets engaged because three of them are in serious long-term relationships, and I think two of them are seriously considering marriage, and I want to attend a wedding. Moving on to some journaling prompts. Annie suggests, these are all by Annie. She says, write about 3 versions of yourself in a year from now. And those versions are ideal, probable, and feared. The feared version is something I have already done on my own time, but I called it a nightmare 20 years. And I wrote this because I was seriously contemplating where my life is right now and the trajectory of my life in 20 years. And I was essentially listing what I don't want my life to look like in the next 20 years. And I have it here, so to read some of them, it's making below a living wage, being paid low wages by the hour, lying to keep up appearances, inauthentic. I wrote making below $250K a year. That is a little absurd for some people. It might be absurd for me. No, it's not. Anyways, husband I hate. And to expand on that, bigot, conservative, arrogant, misogynistic, angry, yelling, being embarrassed, not proud of my achievements, thinking everyone else is better than me, comparing my life to others and feeling disappointed, having friends I hate, being lonely, experiencing substance abuse. Yeah, so interesting things. I wrote 2-hour commute. I do not want to be having a long ass commute in the future. I won't live to see the nightmare 20 years, okay, if that continues. Another journaling prompt is more of this, less of that, and that's essentially writing about what things you want to keep in your life and what things you want to get rid of. Next, you can also write your new year in 3 words, so kind of the energy you want to be bringing into 2026. The next thing to do to prepare for the new year is to add all important dates and events into your calendar. Whether that be a paper calendar that you use, maybe you have one in your journal. Sorry for all the noise. I use Google Calendar, and I have been for the past couple of years. I think it works very well. I like that it is color coordinated and it sends reminders directly to my phone because It sends reminders directly to my phone because it also connects with Apple Calendar. So some important dates to keep in mind: any birthdays of friends or loved ones, vacations that you already have planned, appointments or reminders to schedule appointments, monthly financial audits. I don't really do financial audits monthly, but I do periodically add all of my expenses into my Notion. Very helpful, I'd recommend. You can also schedule any outings. It's hard to know if you have an outing in like November of the following year, but if you have any for January or February, I'd recommend adding those to your calendar. You can also add any nights that you plan on hosting, or just keep those in mind, right? So for example, I really want to host at least 2 times this year. Last year I hosted this summer barbecue with some Sheridan friends. I'd love to do the same again this upcoming year. And I want to host one other thing, but I don't know what event it would be for. Maybe Halloween, maybe Christmas, I don't know. Maybe New Year for next year. I would also add in gym sessions. So I know I go to the gym Saturdays and Sundays, and the days that I go on the weekdays are kind of up in the air, depends on how I feel. Not great, I know, but it's useful adding those. I also like to add my paydays, and another great thing to add is concerts, because you know that well in advance. Something else to keep in mind for the new year are any birthday plans. I know some people, they'll go pretty extravagant and, you know, go on vacations. They'll have trips, maybe girls trips, maybe weekend trips, or maybe you're turning a milestone year. I am turning 25 and my birthday is on January 3rd, and I have not planned anything besides a dinner with my family that my mom actually planned. So yeah, I actually hate having a winter birthday, and I'd rather celebrate my 25th and a half birthday, which would be July 3rd. So maybe the summer barbecue will also be my 25th and a half birthday. I think that'd be kind of conceited, but it's an option. Now, picking from Nischa's video, she says to set clear financial goals for the next 12 months, and you should write down what you want your money to do for you. So if you already know that you want to go on vacation, I know I want to with Michelle, or if you have to save for education, if you're going back to school, or if you have an upcoming semester that you have to pay for, if you're trying to save for a down payment, if you want to pay off debt, build your emergency fund, or start different investment accounts, or if you know you want to invest a certain amount every month or every period of time. Next, you want to pick 1 to 2 goals that you want to prioritize and then plan out your numbers. So if you have done that financial wrapped and you know how much you've spent in the entire year and how much you've made, those numbers are very useful for this task. So for example, if you want to save $6,000 by December, you can break it into monthly goals of $500 per month. You want to look at your projected income for the upcoming 12 months, and you could plan how much you want to save and invest for each month. Nischa says you should also focus on creating your money operating system. You're going to want to automate as much as you can. So auto transfer your savings, schedule for payday, save first and then spend the rest, and automate any sinking funds. So those are predictable but regular expenses. She suggests removing any friction. So you want to separate your emergency fund so you're not tempted to spend any money from it. You can unsubscribe from promotional emails. That also ties into that cleaning your digital space that we did before. And she suggests having your budgeting apps on your home screen so they're very easy to access. You can also create a simple money dashboard so you can track your income versus expenses. That is something that I've done for the past couple of years, and although I didn't do it before, I want to start now. You can track the money that you've invested. I know how much I'm going to be investing into my TFSA and FHSA, but I also have a non-registered. Investment account with Wealth Simple, so I will add money. I'll add random amounts of money. So I want to keep track of that so I know exactly how much I'm adding, because for the past few months I've been just adding willy-nilly, and I should have a system. I should be more organized with that. Next, for the upcoming year, this is something that I really want to do specifically because I'm entering the last 5 years of my 20s. That's 25 to 29. I want to do a 5-year journal. For a 5-year journal, each page is dedicated to a certain day. For example, you'll have January 1st, and that page is going to be divided into 5 sections. In the first year, you're only going to fill in the first section, and then that would be 2026. In 2027, you're going to fill in the second segment, 2028, the third, and so on until you've completed 5 years of journaling. I think it's a really great way to look back at the point at which you were exactly a year ago. So I really want to do that. I have been looking at notebooks online that have 366 pages. I'm not spending a lot on a freaking notebook, I'm sorry. So I've been considering just getting some paper, drawing my own lines, and then using that for the next 5 years. I think that works. Also, if you are someone that likes to do pages of journaling, I don't have those moments daily, but if something significant happens, I'll be writing. So I'm gonna have a separate journal as well. Because I did not journal in 2025 daily, I have a lot of extra pages left in here, so I'll continue using it. Let's move on to the next category in this segment, and that is goal writing. To start off, I'd recommend picking a value or a theme to prioritize in 2026. I did this in 2025, and last year's theme was consistency. For example, that was going to the gym multiple times a week, which is just about the only thing I did consistently besides going to work. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't journal consistently. We've already covered that. But essentially, last year's theme was showing up for yourself. I have already chosen a theme for 2026, and that is leaping into action / movement. I'm one of those people that get really paralyzed by choice or paralyzed by wanting to achieve perfection. I've seen so many people say it, and I'm finally trying to implement it into my own life. Just do the work, just get it out there. Done is better than perfect. By the time you make a decision, by the time you make that perfect decision, someone else has already made 5 different choices and figured out which one is the right path, okay? So movement is the theme. Next is something that I did not do last year, but I want to do this year. And that is choosing any quotes or sayings that you want to resonate with you in the new year. I want this to tie into my theme of action and movement. So I've already chosen my quotes. One of them is from Adele. That is, I'll never learn if I never leap. I'll always yearn if I never speak. That's from To Be Loved. The next quote is, closed mouths don't get fed. And the last quote is, later is now. You don't have to choose 3 different quotes like I did. Just do the ones that resonate with you, however many they are. After warming up by choosing a value to prioritize, as well as picking any quotes or sayings that you want to resonate in the upcoming year, comes the actual goal setting for 2026. And as you saw with my vision boards, I do like to categorize my goals. For 2026, I am revising my categories. This year, my categories are financial, health / fitness, career, personal, so bettering oneself, but not physically. Recreation. Whatever is in recreation is probably also going to coincide with the bucket list bingo card. And the last category is art and creation. A quick tip if you plan on moving goals that you did not achieve in 2025 to 2026 is to really review them and see if they even resonate with you anymore. If they don't, there is no pressure to complete them. Just take it off. After listing out the goals that you want to break them down into actionable steps. So that is how you're going to achieve them. It also works by setting SMART goals. So SMART goals, I have it pulled up here. They are specific, measurable, achievable, or attainable, relevant or realistic, and time-bound. So don't put anything vague on your goal list because it's hard to achieve when you don't really know the finish line. Instead, you want to make your progress trackable and really put a timeline to things so that it's more realistic that you achieve them. With that, we've covered everything I've listed out in preparation for 2026. If anyone has reached the video up until this point or clicked on it and watched a little bit of it, thank you so much. I really do hope it was helpful. Like I've mentioned before, I'm gonna make it a goal to post somewhat consistently in 2026. It will take some time for me to carve out an identity for this channel. I know this video is clunky. I know my environment and my lighting and my audio might be clunky as well, but if you want to join along, I'd really appreciate that, and you're very welcome to watch me stumble through this. Once again, I'm going to be adding any templates or links I've listed either in the comments or in the description box below, in case anyone finds it useful. And on that note, thank you, and I wish everyone a very happy new year. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.